Hey there, everyone, brothers, sisters, friends, family. Um, this is a continuation of an Ascension Handbook by Tony Stubbs. And this is the first segment. It is What is Energy? It's a very interesting subject. What is energy in the consciousness? What is energy in regards to the universe, physical energy, and metaphysical energy? Um, it's a really, really interesting subject. I am literally learning as I go here. This is just amazing, and what I'm learning, I just want to share with everyone. Um, so let's dive into it. This is just going to be the first section. It's going to be what is energy? Just a quick overview of what is energy. Then it gets into space and time, um, motion. So space, time, and motion are the first part, are different segments in the first chapter. So let's go ahead and just get started with an overview of what is energy. Each of you possesses a number of bodies. You are familiar with one of them, the physical body, but less so with the emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. All these bodies are composed of energy, but the energy is not of the familiar electromagnetic spectrum, such as light, radio waves, or X rays. I speak of the energy behind this familiar energy and behind what you call matter. It is not detectable by your scientists' instruments because they too are made of matter, and no instrument can detect frequencies higher than those from which it was made. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. So, the scientists can't detect the energy that is above what the energy was to make the instrument. So, if it's a carnal instrument, it's only going to be able to measure carnal energies or carnal things. That's it sounds logical. It sounds very, very logical. The higher frequency energy is the energy of source. It is the energy from which third dimensional energy, such as light, is derived. But all energy is a continuum, and for our for our discussion, we could think of it in the form of unimaginable numbers of units, each of them aware and conscious in their own way. These energy units agree to participate in higher order frameworks of consciousness, such as myself and the cells of your body. Energy forms what you and I are, and its awareness is the basis of our awareness of ourselves. It is what we are made of. In return, our sense of being organizes the energy units and provides a psychological structure for them in which they can express themselves. So I just want to point out a couple of things that are in that paragraph. The higher frequency energy is the energy of source. And also, energy forms what you and I are, and its awareness is the basis of our awareness of ourselves. Very, 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 very cool stuff to point out there. The universe is arranged to allow energy gestalts. It's a new word for me. A gestalt, I had to look this up. A gestalt is an organized whole that is perceived as more than the sum of its parts. So, gestalt, new word, I hope, for everyone else. So, the universe is arranged to allow energy gestalts, such as myself, to perform function. Any names that we use refer to the function we are performing when we communicate with you and do not imply any identity within spirit. Any names used are purely for the convenience of and communication with your conscious minds. Although I am aware of myself as pure spirit energy, I do not regard myself as having an identity other than the function I perform. I am the energy that makes up the gestalt called the Serapis function at this moment. But this energy is constantly shifting and changing. You can imagine, for the sake of this explanation, that energy is divided into octaves, with the source as the highest octave and the physical plane as the lowest octave we shall be talking about. I and other levels of your being exist and perform our functions in these octaves. Imagine them like several FM radio bands on your radio, with each being such as myself as one particular station. Each band supports a different range of frequencies, and each of us operates in every band. So each of us operates in every band. That's pretty cool. So we all have multiple, infinite parts to our octaves that we can vibrate at. And one occupies the same relative position in the dial within each band, getting progressively higher in frequency, or to use the analogy of a piano keyboard, one is the same relative note in each octave on the keyboard. Seven in this case. So if your individual notes in each of the 7 octaves were sounding together, the result would be the totality of your being. A very beautiful sound. A very beautiful sound it is. Remember that these analogies do not even come close to conveying the real story. There are many bands and an infinite number of notes in each. That's cool. I was kind of leaning that way. Also, at these levels, you are constantly blending with other energies to perform certain functions. So just to go back to something, energy is divided into octaves, with the source as the highest octave and the physical plane as the lowest octave. So we're here at the lowest vibration. We are high energy, high frequency beings functioning on the lowest frequency imaginable. That sucks. That really, really sucks. That's why we're all about raising our frequency here on this earth. I'm not going to go into too much on my own thoughts. I'll leave you guys to make up your own minds and to form your own questions. And it's really, really cool stuff. This is a great book. Not only am I being composed of energy, but anything I conceive of is manifested through further organization of energy units. Whenever I create anything from an atom to a galaxy, I first project a receptive field analogous to space, and then transmit or radiate energy units into it, organized according to my intent or thought forms. It's pretty cool. It's going to come in handy with manifestation. The only way that anything can be created is by organizing this unlimited supply of energy units according to intent. So the being that I know as myself, plus all that I create or destroy, is composed of energy. Again, this energy is not heat or light that you know, but a more subtle energy, akin to the energy of a thought that you might have. So it's mental energy. You can't see, taste, or touch or smell it, but you can perceive it. This raises many interesting questions about dimensions of energy, such as the nature of space and time. So, that's an overview of basically what energy is. Gosh, just in what energy is, it's blowing my mind. I hope it's blowing your mind too and making us think. Like I'm thinking very highly on this book and just what a wonderful thing I happened to stumble across. Should we go on to what space is? It's a pretty short overview of it. So why not? Let's jump into what space is. I said that I project a receptive field, analogous to space, into which I radiate energy units according to my intent. This is a higher order of space than physical space, and in your terms would take up no actual space at all. It is, however, every bit as real to me as the dimensions of a room are to you. I project or imagine this space as others like me project the three-dimensional space in which you live. You may have read it said that physical space is nothing more than a thought form or an idea construct. This raises the question, who is doing the thinking? Rest assured that vast entities are diligently thinking your three-dimensional space, maintaining it with a clarity and focus that is beyond description. That's so freaking cool. That's so Kabbalists say that we are just a figment of the source's imagination. Well, the source is many entities. Elohim refers to plural. It's gods. So if many highly evolved beings, energies, are focusing on this three-dimensional world, creating everything in existence, creating all the matter and all the energy to bring these things into matter and manifest. That makes so much sense. This is amazing. The space we conceive. Sorry, I missed a minute. I missed a little bit. So we'll go back to rest assured that vast entities are diligently thinking your three-dimensional space, maintaining it with a clarity and focus that is beyond description. For many of you, other levels of your own being are part of this. So our other frequencies that we have, that are part of us, are also focusing on this three-dimensional world, bringing it into existence for us to perceive it as real. That's super cool. Super cool. The space we conceive has a susceptibility or conduciveness to energy. Much like a highway is more conducive to vehicles than the terrain on which it is built, or a wire is more conducive to electricity than the surrounding air. Space is therefore a field created to conduct energy. On the higher planes, we create our own space. On the physical plane, Sorry, I totally lost my place. Space is therefore a field created to conduct energy. On the higher planes, we create our own space on the physical plane. Other levels of your own being create the physical space in which you live. It is both a unifying and a separating field. Unifying in the sense that it allows what we radiate into it to interact, and separating in that it is organized so that the radiations do not overlap. Imagine putting two objects together like a pair of bookends. They do not merge into each other because the type of field we project keeps their fields separate. Whoa. Whoa. So this is going to give us some tips on manifestation. This is really cool. I've got a couple of things highlighted in here as far as space goes and what space is. Space is therefore a field created to conduct energy. So you project your space, you project your energy into the space. It is both a unifying and separate field. It's going to help you with manifestation and manifesting things that you need in this world and that you would desire. But remember, desire is the beginning of all suffering. So take into account what you want to manifest in this world. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. The next subject is time. And time looks to be a really extensive subject for this. So, peace be with y'all, and thank you very much for watching.